Okay, so first of all, you're the Bobbi of L'Oreal. Like, we just need to give you that title. Like, you are that here. Or I'm the Carrington of Beauty School Bobbi. I think that might be what it is. But I'm obsessed
like separated
with you.
at birth here.
Like, I'm obsessed. Like, I already am like, I want to stay here forever. Like, I recorded when we were walking in today and I was like frowning. I was like, I don't want to leave. I don't even want to start my last day. Like, I love it here.
We've got lots of capacity because, it's
this is my office now.
Everybody's working from home. So you can stay here.
I'm just going to take this office because it doesn't seem like it's like a hot commodity or anything like that.
I've been here 19 years and I still can't get the corner office. So I'm just saying, I don't know.
Don't know what it takes.
LEAD, Rolf's Global Institute, powered by L'Oreal USA PPD, represents a new era in beauty. LEAD has created the world's first college and university degree program pathway for beauty professionals, transforming the future of the beauty industry through higher education. The goal of this global movement is to create a new future for beauty professionals, providing them with a wider range of opportunities. It's time for beauty professionals to enjoy the financial freedom, impact, and respect that they deserve. LEAD also provides scholarship opportunities to eligible students worldwide. You are invited to join this global initiative and be part of the future. For more information, please go to leadinstitute.degree.
So I want to talk to you about how long you've been in the industry and kind of what you've done. So let's rewind to kind of the beginning. What was your first exposure to the beauty industry? And then kind of how you came into it.
Okay. So I knew that I wanted beauty. I loved beauty. I thought that I wanted marketing.
Okay.
So that's when I interviewed at L'Oreal. That's kind of what I had in my head. I wanted beauty and I wanted marketing.
But had you graduated college at this time?
I graduated college. Actually, I was kind of old as far as, people starting their career because I spent my 20s. Whoa, wait a minute. Let's start back here. Okay. So I graduated from college and then I spent my 20s. I'm Gen X. Okay. As we confirmed a few minutes ago.
Absolutely.
As I shocked you that I'm Gen X.
Yes, absolutely insane.
But so I spent my 20s trying to find myself, as many people in Gen, the Gen X world did. I was trying to find myself. And so I went, sometimes I feel like an imposter in a corporate world because I spent my 20s, I backpacked. I went to Indonesia, I went to Australia, I went to New Zealand. I jumped out of a plane. I went skydiving. I picked macadamia nuts in Australia. I rode on sailboats to travel around New Zealand. I mean,
it's amazing.
Did all that in my 20s.
Lived the dream.
Then got to 30 and was like, wait, what am I going to do with myself? So I went to business school in Barcelona, Spain. Graduated, moved back to the U.S. and then came knocking on L'Oreal's door. So because I knew I wanted beauty. I thought I wanted marketing. So I came to L'Oreal. I interviewed at L'Oreal and it's like the sorting hat at Hogwarts because there are 4 different divisions here. There's the luxury division, the consumer division, the active cosmetics division, and then the professional products division. And so when they interviewed me, it's like a psychoanalysis. They're asking me, where are you from? What was your childhood like? How do you feel about clowns? I mean, it was really like and the sorting hat spits out where you should go. Yeah. And the sorting hat spit out for me, professional products division. And that's the world that, we live in now, the salon world. And I've never looked back. That was 19 years ago. And I stayed in this division the whole time. And there are a lot of reasons why I think the sorting hat picked this house for me.
Yeah.
It resonates with me a lot. I think that, the world of hairdressers is very quirky and emotional and fun. And as you know, that kind of,
you fit it.
That kind of resonates with me. That which was very different than like doing marketing for, toothpaste and selling it to, the buyer at, Target. Wasn't
so much more of a purpose behind
the
this.
Purpose,
and it's, present.
The people, all of that. And also, both my parents are small business owners and entrepreneurs. And I say that, I think as we know in our world, it sounds very glamorous, like entrepreneurs. There is definitely a side of entrepreneurialism that's not very glamorous, and it's a lot of hard work. And, my dad, for example, didn't take a salary for 14 years because he was making payroll.
What were they in? Like, what did they do?
My dad had a franchise of overhead door company.
Okay.
So, electric operators, which I actually have now.
Yeah.
And my mom had a children's boutique, like little clothing boutique in Roanoke, Virginia.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah.
So there, it was always, and my dad, especially, I feel like, actually both of them, I credit them with they both connected with people in what they did. And I feel like that's what I love about the job that I have. I love connecting with hairdressers. I love connecting with our sales team. I love connecting with, the people that I work with at L'Oreal. So it worked. It was a good fit for me.
You're meant to be doing this. Like, it's perfect.
And it wouldn't be the same in another, like I said, like selling toothpaste to what, it wouldn't be the same. It's really having that, the stylist is the salon owner, like the small business owner, whether you're an independent stylist or you actually own your own salon. I feel I've seen, with my parents, I saw that kind of like how the economy impacted them very dramatically. And I feel like I can really sympathize with that. And I like that we are helping someone. Yes. I really like that we're helping someone.
Yeah. That connection is so special. And I think, so when you started, were you in the salons? Like, how present were you in the salons when you started? Did you have to go in and be like, I need to familiarize myself with who we're working with? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah. I mean, I did a lot of, in those first few years, I did a lot of field, we call them field visits or detailing. And I would go and I would ride in cars with our sales consultants and, go and visit the salons and the salon owners.
And that was in New York. Like, you were doing that, like
all
New York,
over,
New Jersey,
all over. And that's, that's so much fun. I can remember going to salons and, you pull in and they would say, hey, I brought someone from the corporate office, and the salon owner would be like, hey, honey, I just got to feed the dog. I'll be right back. Let me just run out, and I was like, I love this. Yes. I love that kind of personal feeling. It's like, it's just a very different world. Like, I might be on the corporate side, but I feel like this keeps me real and keeps me grounded.
Definitely.
And, what's going on in the world around us. So
we were all saying that, like, it is corporate, obviously, but it doesn't feel that way. Like, it just doesn't have that corporate, like, stuck up, like, what, and I don't know if that's the industry or if it's just like everyone has like such an interesting story, and we've been able to talk to so many different people that are like from just different walks of life and different backgrounds. And I think that that's what makes it so awesome. Is it's not like, I couldn't see you in this like super businessy
power suit with my thing. I think it is our industry. I think that, when I hire people for my team that are going to be in marketing, or I'm always thinking about, are they going to connect with a hairdresser? Are they going to connect with a sales consultant? And, with a lot of our, like, the hairdressers don't necessarily, I always say they're not necessarily making decisions just here. They're making decisions here. Totally. They're making decisions here, like their hands, like what's going to make sense. So, really think through, like, who am I going to bring on that's going to connect heart and soul with our customer, and that's not everybody. So it really makes a difference in, like, the team that we build and who is attracted to and ultimately thrives in the professional products division at L'Oreal. I definitely think it's a different kind of division. There is that heart and soul part of it. I've always brought my whole, we talk a lot about now, I think it's really trendy to talk about, bringing your whole self to work. And it's kind of a new thing. I think now, younger generations are more and more like, they don't want to be a different person at work than they are in their personal life. I will say, in the 19 years I've been here, I've always brought my whole self to work. I've never been a different person at work than I was in my personal life. Yeah. And I think that's...
Can you tell that when you're interviewing people? Like, do you pick up on that, like, right away? Like, when you're
whether they are that, that person?
Like, whether they're like... it's showy, it's interviewee, whatever. Like, are you like, wait, I don't know if that's going to fit? Is that like a red flag for you?
I can definitely tell. Yeah. Yeah. I can tell at this point. And which doesn't mean that I've made some mistakes, but but for the most part, I think, and actually what I find more when I say I've made some mistakes, it's almost like I've hired people who, maybe the role I was hiring them for, I needed someone who's very analytical. And I wasn't necessarily thinking of, like, are they going to connect heart and soul with a hairdresser?
Right.
But what's been amazing? Bring them to an artist training and watch them get, just completely swept up in this world of hairdressers, artists for 3 days. And next thing you know, I'm like, I think I might leave my IT. I might lose my IT analyst to be a hairdresser like that. Yeah. I think she wants to go back to work and go back to school and become an artist. Yeah. It's amazing how people, I think, get really swept up in this.
And it's really gravitate towards it. Like we were just talking with David with Access, and like we were just talking about his background of having a master's degree and all this stuff. And I'm like, how did you end up here? You know what I mean? It's just so different. I think that it really sometimes sucks you in. Yeah. Like it really pulls you into it. And I think that's what's so special about it. I think that's why like when we're out there and people see like, oh, they're having fun. Yeah. They're having fun. And you get to laugh and you get to be positive. And like, are there downsides? Like, absolutely. Like, for sure. Not every day is like that. Yeah. But I think we get pretty close.
It makes a big difference.
Close to being like,
I totally agree. And I think it was hard. I think in the pandemic, we had a lot of people who started in the pandemic and they were not able to go and experience that firsthand. Yeah. And I think it was hard. I noticed a lot of people coming in and you're not being able to kind of like connect and feel that energy and feel that emotion and see how powerful that was and really connect with our customer. That, I want to talk about our customer, like hairdresser there's so much more than that to us, Sure. And I think that period of time was really tough. Now I notice as they are getting out and they're able to connect with people,
they're more excited now that they get that part.
And I spend a lot of time, I have a weekly, I call it the hump day huddle with my team. And I've been doing this for years. And it's like sort of it's a chance to ask any question. No question is dumb. It's a chance to decode, kind of the corporate stuff that maybe they don't feel comfortable asking. And I talk a lot about, it's like a fireside chat really, and I talk a lot about, stylists, salons, the emotion of that. And I talk a lot about, because a lot of these haven't experienced that. A lot of people haven't experienced it yet. And so, we spend a lot of time talking about the culture of our division and what makes it different, the heart of that,
Yeah, the real purpose behind it. What does your team look like? How many team members do you have at this point?
I have,
roughly.
About 40.
Wow.
Full-time.
Okay.
That report up into me.
Wow.
Which includes our field education team. So education and which is, there are two parts of education. There's our training team, which is the team that manages the artists and the curriculum, create the curriculum. And then there's our field education team that are the ones deploying the education out in the market. And then I have the marketing team. And those teams, and the marketing team is, we have some people that are digital marketing, some people that are doing the website, doing our PR, doing brand marketing, where they're kind of doing the launches and creating all the pieces for that. So those people report up into me. And then we have sales teams that are shared across a lot of the PPD brands. But we have certain people dedicated to each brand within sales.
So what's really funny coming from the outside of this is we got a tour of the offices.
Yeah.
And you can tell that there's this brand and there's this brand and there's this brand. And even though it's all in the same building, there's like I don't want to say like a type. We probably can't say that, but there's definitely a personality for each brand. And like, talk to me about Matrix, because I feel like you're such an amazing face for Matrix and what Matrix is. And I know there's a lot of like changes happening in Matrix. So let's talk a little bit about Matrix.
I probably should have mentioned, do you know my first job at L'Oreal in the professional products division was Matrix?
Are you serious?
I started at Matrix. No, it was my first, that was the first job. And again, it was like, they in my interview, the man who interviewed me, who is actually in Paris now, but he asked me a lot of questions about my personality and that's why I think he really figured out that I was a professional products. Like culture mattered to me, personality mattered. I was, I liked emotional, quirky, fun, all of that. So he put me there. And then, and I think he also really realized that Matrix was the right fit for me. It's always been, I don't know, how much you know about the history of Matrix, but Matrix was founded by someone named Arnie Miller back in 1980. And he created it to be this place that was very inclusive and that everyone felt welcome regardless of your background or your experience. Yeah. And in fact, that's why he called it Matrix, because a matrix is a network. And he wanted to create this network of stylist supporting stylists.
Yeah.
So it was sort of founded on this idea of everybody belonged. And I felt that, I mean, by the time I joined in 2003 and Arnie had already passed away, L'Oreal had acquired the brand, but you definitely still felt that in the culture. It was a place where everyone belonged. It was very, we used to say it's universal democratic fun, but it was that, that fit my personality 100%. And so I spent my first 3 years of my career at Matrix as an assistant marketing manager. Then I left, and again, I told you I stayed in the professional products division, which is not super common. A lot of people, one of the best parts of L'Oreal is that people can move around divisions and you can kind of try different things out. So that fluidity is normal, but to stay in one division is a little more unusual. But for me, it was just, this one works for me. But I went from Matrix to Kerastase, so the other side of the spectrum, and then I went to L'Oreal Professionnel, and then Pureology, and then Redken. And then 2 years ago, so in the middle of a pandemic, I was given the opportunity to come back to Matrix.
Yeah.
And it was kind of this incredible full circle moment in my life.
Yeah.
To come back to the place where I started at this point in my career, and also this point in the life cycle of the,
That's what's so special, I think. Like,
crazy.
Did this happen? Did they know, and we'll kind of get into what's changing and like how the product's changing and all that stuff, but like, did they know that it was changing before you, or are you like, we're changing something?
Was I doing it? No, the change was already happening. The renovation was already in the works. Like that had been in the works.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. I was like, what do we call this? I don't want to
call it brand renovation.
Yes,
so that had been in the works for a while. Like we already, we renovated the brand and introduced the new brand in March of 2021.
Okay.
It had already been in the works for a year prior to that. They were reformulating the color brands. We were working on the new brand equity, the new visuals, the new positioning, things like that. So that had already been in the works. But when I came in, it was almost like, when I came in August of 2020, and then we did the renovation in March of 2021.
Okay.
So I had some time to sort of like jump in there and pick up the reins and bring it to life. And we'd also, like every brand, we were dealing with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Where, which had impacted, not just the team here in the office, but our entire network. We had an artist training in March, this past March, in Houston, actually. It was the first time.
That's where Dalton's from. He loves Houston.
Oh my God. We did it there because they had a color factory, and I just got it in my head that I wanted to do a party at the color factory. So we did it there.
I love that.
I'll show you. I'll send you guys the video.
It was so cool.
It was amazing. It was truly, we hadn't had a live connection with our artists in 3 years. And a lot had happened in 3 years.
Wow.
And it was, even things outside of the pandemic. We had just had a lot of transition, a lot of disruption, changes in leadership, changes in everything. And so by the time we had this training in Houston, honestly, it was like, we needed it. We all needed it. And it was amazing. It was so wonderful.
Cool.
So I think, coming in when I did, there was a lot going on, and I was grateful I have to be honest, I don't think I even knew what the full extent of this was going to be. We were having, where we're going. I think what I thought then is we're renovating the brand, we're changing our visuals, we're going to be more diverse and inclusive. And now the way I feel, a year and a half later, is we are changing the world. Yes. I mean, I don't mean to be dramatic about this, but honestly, we are change makers. And that's a big responsibility, but it's super exciting. And again, we talked about gratitude. I feel grateful that I didn't necessarily know what I was signing up for, but wow, what an opportunity, to do something meaningful that's outside of just selling products.
Yeah.
This is the first time in my 19 years, is the first time that I feel like I truly there's a cause here. There's a real purpose here that's outside of, selling products
it's so cool. One of the things that we were talking about earlier too is like, along with the gratitude, is being willing to take those steps when like that door opens.
Yeah.
And when like, this has been like a weird theme that's been weaved in through like our whole trip here, is like, if you're the kind of person that is willing to just like take the step, like a door opens and you don't know what you're getting into. And at that point in your career, like, I feel like you could have been like, you know what? I'm good. Like, I'm good where I'm at. I think a lot of people coming out of the pandemic were feeling like that. Like, I'm good. I don't really want so much more. Like, I'm whatever. But like, you're like, no, dude, this sounds great. Like, and I'm going to take that step. And then like, to be able to reflect on that and be like, thank goodness I did.
Yes.
You know, like so happy that I did
Totally.
because
And
like it's so much of what you're doing right now is important. And it's like what you need without even knowing that that's what you needed.
Exactly. And I think that for that, I'd like to take credit and say that, I've always been someone who goes after a challenge and likes to go out of their comfort zone. But I have to say, I've really been fortunate to have people in my life who have moved me in the right direction because they knew what was best for me.
Yes.
And Leslie Marino, who you met, my boss, is one of those people. And I think that's been, incredibly important in just throughout my life. I've had that, because I'm not sure. I mean, there are times when I feel like I'm not sure I'm going to take that step.
Yeah.
But like, I'll take Leslie as an example. She knows really well. She knows me really well. She knows what's going to motivate me, what's going to challenge me, where I need to grow. But she also knows that, like everyone, that can be scary.
Yeah.
But one time when I was at Pureology and the head of marketing role came up at Redken and, I was being chosen for the job. And Leslie knew that I was going to have a hard time leaving my I had a really great team at Pureology and she knew I was going to have a little bit of an emotional reaction. So I was in Spain actually on vacation and she called me or she texted me in Spain and said, I just want you to know, you're going to be moving to the Redken role. I had and she said, we'll talk about it on Monday. So I had an entire plane ride home to sort of like, get my jitters out. And by the time I showed up in the meeting with her, I was like, I'm in. Yeah, like, I'm in. But I think it's having people around you who know even if you don't know what's the right thing for you or you can't necessarily see it clearly all the time. It's really important to have people around you who have your best interest at heart, know you really well, and they know both your strengths and they know, the weaknesses and they can kind of point you in the right direction and then just trust them.
Yeah. But that's why it's important to be, like we talked about this in the beginning of the episode, like that's why you have to be yourself. Yeah. Like that is why you can't be this like shell of a person that's just like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to offend or I don't want to, whatever. You have to be you because in order to get to the places that you want to go, what's really going to make you happy. I think a lot of people end up in positions or end up in situations where they're not happy with where they're at or whatever, but like, there's some responsibility in that of like, you've got to like make sure that people know who you are and what you want and like be vocal about that. Like
100%.
Make sure that like you're sharing that so that the people that are making those decisions, especially in a company that's like this size, or even in a salon, like I think as positions open with stylists that are being chosen to go on to become educators or whatever that is, like make sure that you're like reflecting on somebody, like make sure that you're like bouncing that idea off of somebody so that you can trust opinion. I mean, I think you can't take so much of what people say. I think it's not everyone is going to have your best interest always in like a work setting. So I think it's like you find those people and you trust
them, people you trust. Because I've had that too, where there were people giving me advice that weren't necessarily the people who knew me the best or had my interest at heart. Maybe they had their interest at heart.
Yeah, exactly.
But you find someone you trust and then, they're going to look out for you and you have to trust that. I think there's also something that, I saw this once and it really resonated with me is, what do you love to do? What are you good at? And what can you get paid for? And, because there it is the reality check of what can I get paid for? Yeah. And if you find the intersection of those three things, that's the sweet spot.
Yes.
And then just lean in, go hard. So what do you love to do? What are you good at? And then what can you get paid for?
Yeah.
What do other people see a value in enough to pay you for it? Yeah. And then that's the sweet spot and go for it. And I do feel like, just thinking about our industry, there have never been more opportunities and more options for people to take. If you want to work, do you want to be an educator with a brand? Do you want to be an influencer? Do you want to be an editorial stylist? Do you want to work in a salon? If so, what kind? Do you want to work in a suite? Do you want to work, be a booth runner? Do you want more control over your schedule? So there's so many options that haven't always been there. Yeah. And there's still, I think, a lot of room to kind of create new models in our industry too, which is exciting.
Yeah,
think,
definitely.
Certainly that's what the younger generation, these kids today, I love them because I think they're challenging norms at a pace that nobody has before.
Yeah.
And as a result, we're coming up with really cool options of how to live your life, how to be successful in your career.
Yeah.
And really, but also have a life. Also be a really good mom like
yes.
we are.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
How to multitask when you're at that T-ball game for 3 hours.
Exactly.
There's a lot we can.
Yes, there is. I love that so much. And I think I was literally going to ask you, but you answered the question without me having to ask of advice that you have for young. And I think it's that. I think it's that we need to be open to whatever changes are coming. And I think that not to be you've been in the industry so long that you're whatever, but I think it's really important that we talk to people like you and that we share people that have been doing this for a minute. I love that you're so open to hearing from younger stylists and younger beauty professionals and taking that into consideration. But I think we also need to be listening to people that have been doing it for a minute to have both sides. I think it's really important that we're not this is the new way and this is the only thing we know. And so we're doing it our way. I think it's really important to be okay, well, I've lived a little and I know some things. So let me tell you about why. And we take that all. I think it has to be a mix. It seems like Matrix is doing a really good job at having that mix. I think even just from the branding and all of that stuff, it's awesome. And I really love what you're doing. And I'm jealous that your team gets to have you all the time. Let me know when I can be in one of those meetings.
You're part of the extended family. You're now part of the Matrix family. Is my Matrix logo showing well?
Yes, it looks so good. No, I love that. I think it's awesome. And I think and whether they knew what was coming and put you in that role, I just think you were meant to be. It was a good
fit. It was totally a good fit. And I think, it takes a lot of being in this role. So I saw something the other day that stuck with me because it kind of made the light bulb go off. Mm-hmm. We're at a time and place in society in the world where all brands have to be inclusive. That's sort of table stakes. At the top of the funnel, every brand has to be inclusive. Some brands will be champions of diversity, and they will get behind causes and support diversity and inclusion. Some brands down at the bottom of the funnel will be change makers. Yeah. A few brands will be change makers. Mm-hmm. And that's where we are. Yeah. And that realization was oh my gosh, we are the change makers. We're that small group at the bottom of the funnel. And that's scary and inspiring and, an incredible place to be. So I think it's, it kind of made me realize it's okay that we're going to stumble a couple times and we're going to make some mistakes because nobody ever made change in history and didn't stumble and make some mistakes and pick themselves back up and brush themselves off and keep going. And so, it's not all going to be different from today to tomorrow. This is a journey that we're on. And I think, but what I feel good about is that there is a purpose at the end of this journey that is worth moving towards. Yeah.
And I think you're the person to do it. I know I just met you, but I'm man, if anyone is going to do this, it's Carrington. So,
well, it's not me alone. There is a whole team behind this and the passion that other people, I think.
But that's so contagious. And I think having a team of the number of people that you have to be able to even just if they pick up a piece of it, I think it's great. And they're going to encourage you. I think it's perfect. I'm so excited for you.
Everybody is really, whether it's, our artists in the field, our field educators, our marketing team, our salespeople. I think there are so many people that are really excited as I am to have an opportunity like this that comes along once in a career. Yeah. To be able to really be a change maker. You know, that's not something that you get. This is what the smarty pants at Harvard Business School are going to be talking about years from now. You're writing cases about us. But I think it's a really amazing time to be. Yeah. On the brand.
Well, we'll definitely be following up with you. I definitely want to
I'm track down and see.
Yes, you are for sure. Have to.
I'm going to swim in that river.
I know, literally.
Put me in that river.
Get here. Straight from the airport. We're get in. And this is what you're here for. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm obsessed. I'm so thankful. Thank you for recording it with us. And where can we follow you, Carrington, actually, for everyone else that isn't just inside of this room?
You can follow Matrix we're on Instagram, we're on Pinterest, we're on Facebook.
And the handle?
Matrix.
Oh, yeah, it's at Matrix. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
You'll find us.
Make sure that you follow Matrix. Make sure you follow Carrington Cole, and she will be hopefully in Knoxville soon. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you so much.
LEAD, Rolf's Global Institute, powered by L'Oreal USA PPD, represents a new era in beauty. LEAD has created the world's first college and university degree program pathway for beauty professionals, transforming the future of the beauty industry through higher education. The goal of this global movement is to create a new future for beauty professionals, providing them with a wider range of opportunities. It's time for beauty professionals to enjoy the financial freedom, impact, and respect that they deserve. LEAD also provides scholarship opportunities to eligible students worldwide. You are invited to join this global initiative and be part of the future. For more information, please go to leadinstitute.degree.